recently someone asked for an update on my Infernoble Knight deck. So we're going to do that. I will preface this by saying I'm currently on a pure Infernoble build. I really enjoy the Noble Knight Infernoble build. It has a strong end combo. However, I wanted to, for a big tournament, I wanted to try something a little more aggressive. So I went to a Infernoble Knight hand rip build. Well, out anymore, we'll get started. We start with 1, 2, 3, Neospace connector. No surprise there, he's a constant, and of course the engine requirement, Aqua Dolphin. Okay. You know, so strong, rips hand traps out of your hand, get sad when you see him Gamma. Alright, then we play 1 Ogier as our 5th normal summon. The other 4 being, of course, Neospace, and then Aqua Dolphin in some rough situations. Then we play 1, 2, 3 Quantum Red Layer. Free special summon. He makes Neospace so much better because he lets you rip those gammas. Honestly, if you're playing online, a lot of people see Super Quantum Red Layer plus Neospace and they scoop there. Then we have triple Infernoble Knight Oliver. Someone else will be glad to see that I'm actually at 3 instead of just 2. I still see him a little too often in multiples in hand, but he works as another normal summon if that's the case, and then he can special himself out. He lets you even go extend using Isolde to summon out Aqua Dolphin if you didn't get it to start, and so you can still get that hand rip, and then you just special him out after using Durandal to search him, or if he was in your starting hand. We have double Renaud. I tried him at 3, but I found that because he's because he's not very generic on his special summon conditions, that having him as the only extender in my hand really hurt. So I moved Fireflint Lady from 1 back to 2 to make sure that I have a more generic extender.
Here's that. Here's a stack of.
And then we have the boss monster at 1, Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. He's amazing. We finally have the collector's rare, so we're happy about that. He outs Dragoon. In a simplified game state, he's just a win button.
I went against a guy at a regional playing that, and I felt really bad.
And then their last Infernoble Knight, we have Infernoble Knight Roland. He's a bit of an odd choice on my part, but I like him because he can combine with Aqua Dolphin for some sneaky rips. You know, you activate Aqua Dolphin and he's in hand. You ask for a response. If there's none, you then say, okay, effect Infernoble Knight Roland, equip to Neospace connector. Suddenly you can rip that gamma. He also gets you an extra search, so 3 searches through your turn is a lot better than just 2. Now for the bricks, we have 1 Despot 001 and 1 Coltwing. It's still awful to see Coltwing in your starting hand. Not so much the Despot 001, you can still play around it, it's not nice. However, I have found a combo line with the new extra deck build that lets you play through having Coltwing in hand and still end on a Charles Herald. Alright, moving on to the spells. We play 1, 2, 3, Heritage of the Chalice. It's still an amazing searcher. It gets you your Durandal, it gets you your Olivers, it gets you your Renauds, it gets your odd equipped spells for odd situations. And you know, it searches most any monster in your deck, or most any of the starter monsters or extenders, because even if you want, say, Red Layer, you can use this, search Durandal, search Red Layer. Speaking of Durandal, 3 Durandal, searches your fires. It's a great other option to equip to Charles, because if you kill Charles, you can special out the Renaud from grave and use that to cycle back another equip spell, either getting Durandal back for search or getting DDR back for bringing Charles back. Then we play one Rhoda, again, warrior deck. It's a mandatory card.
Bring it to 3.
Yes, please. All right. Then for our equip spells, we play triple DDR. I still like DDR over Living Fossil at 3, just because DDR lets us bring back Gearfried. It lets us bring back Charles. It gets hurt by Lancia more. It also lets us grind out games a lot better. We play one Noble Knight, Noble Arms Gallatin. This one's moved into the main because Shadal invoked such a big thing. And this lets you get most of your normal summons. Ogier and Red Layer gets them strong enough to beat over Winda, which is an important requirement nowadays. We play one Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. It's combo requirement. It's also, plus attack gets Red Layer over Winda. We play one Metal Silver Armor. A lot of Infernoble Knight players don't know what this is.
I hate this card so much.
It's amazing. It's going to be really great in the Sky Striker matchups. So this card, when it's equipped to a monster you control, requires your opponent to use targeting effects that target one monster, be they spell, trap, or monster effect, to target the monster it's equipped to. So you often send this to grave as part of Isolde's play or off of Infernoble Knight Captain Roland. And then you use Charles' effect to equip this and an Oliver from deck. And suddenly those targeting effects that target one monster can't target anything, because Charles has to be targeted, but you can't target him because of Oliver. Really painful for Dragon Link players too, because they can't resolve Striker Dragon. Or Virtual World if they don't have a spell or trap to start. And then the last one copy of Living Fossil. It's an extender. You can go for it if you see Lancia, so you can still play through Lancia. You won't get to a great end board, but it's there. And then we have finally our tech cards. We play one, two, 3 Forbidden Droplets. I used to run Dark Ruler No Mores, the commons, because I was a budget player. I got lucky and opened a great ulti Cyber Dragon and was able to change that or trade that and some cash for these. They're strong. We have plenty of targets that we want engraved between Coltwing, between our Divine Sword, and we can afford to send some because we have Renaud to bring stuff back. So this is a great card for us, and we don't usually have to send more than 1 or 2. And it still lets us punch our opponent, which, because we now run Access Code Talker, we want that to still be an option. Next, we have 1, 2, 3 Droll and Lockbird. This is great in a lot of matchups. It hurts the Virtual World matchup if they start open with Desires, because then Lulu's not getting them a search. It hurts the Invoked because they start with Meltdown and suddenly they can't add Invocation off of Alistair. It's just strong in most matchups. Even Tri-Brigade Zoo tend to want to open with Desires, and if you hit that, then Nerval's not doing any searching. Finally, for our last 2 spots, we have double Twin Twisters. You need spells, trap destruction in your main deck. That's monsters effects. It's just mandatory. You're going to see strikers. You're going to see sets that you don't want to start going into combo before you rig. And I prefer Twin Twisters over Cosmics just because, again, we have certain cards that we do want to discard. It also hits more back row in the first place. Moving on to the extra deck. we play 1 copy of Isolde, Two Tales of Noble Knights. I really want to bring it back to 2, just so we have more plays going forward, or if the first one gets outed.
Mommy.
However, the space is super tight in this build, so it's sadly only a 1-of. We play 1 Halqifibrax, because Halqifibrax Despot 001 is still insane. We play 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. Pass out tokens and make your opponent cry, because your combo is going to take 10 minutes. 2 Power Tool Dragons. The only thing that's at 2 in the extra deck. We can use them more than once per turn. We can get our DDR, then we can get out our Durandal to search out Renaud. Or if we don't have a Renaud, we search for a second DDR and hope that we hit it, or we get the Durandal and use Durandal to get another extender. He's also very important for going into the next card, Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. You overlay with 2 level 7s, you use him to spawn out more tokens without Cult Wing. So this is actually how we get into a board even when Cult Wing's in our opening hand. We use 1 power tool to search out a DDR. We banish our Oliver. We use the DDR, or with Divine Sword, we use DDR, pitch the Divine Sword, special the Oliver, use Oliver in the last token we have left to make a second power tool, and overlay the 2 power tools for Dracosac. Still on Balmung, you want to pop him. You actually pop him with Dracosac now instead of Charles, because Dracosac can tribute itself to pop a card on the field. So we pop Balmung and get our Cult Wing back. We won 1 Shooting Riser Dragon. Once upon a time I said I didn't like this card just because it takes so much more to get it out. I'm still not a super fan of it, but it works for this combo line, and it also has some level modulation, so if you didn't send Aqua Dolphin before, you can send it later or now to make it a 4-star tuner, which can actually help us get to Charles or Gamma. We play 1 Captain Roland. Use combo, searches, good. We play 1 Herald of the Arclight, because our Omni Negate works great with Living Fossil. We play 1 Borreload Savage, because sometimes we don't want to go into the next card, and you know, negates, always great. 1 Psyframe Lord Omega. He is your principal hand ripper besides Aqua Dolphin. He banishes himself, and he is not once per turn. So that DDR that we search off of Power Tool, you cycle him back and rip again. And then you use Renaud to grab that DDR back and rip again. Fun thing you should know if you play this is that your opponent only gets the last card they banished back at standby. So those other 2 cards are just banished face up.
It's gross.
It's very gross, but that's good Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays.
Yeah, right.
We play 1 Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, our boss monster. Unfortunately, this build doesn't get to go into him nearly as much, but he's still a strong card. That Metal Silver Lock is still really painful for a lot of decks, and he's just a great boss monster. Non-targeting destruction, interruption during your opponent's turn. And then for the last 2 cards, we play 1 Nightmare Unicorn. Spin back, it's useful. You can use it to clear out your field if you need to thin board before you go into the rest of your combo. However, its principal use is in going second. You link into this using Isolde and Renaud to bring out Nightmare Unicorn, and then use the Living Fossil you pick off of the Renaud to go into Access Code Talker. That's from 2 warrior monsters, we get 2 Code Talker, and we have 2 pops. It comes at swinging at 53, and if you have a Gear Feed in hand, that's usually enough to net you game. Even in matches where you're not going to swing for game, just putting them out at 53 lets you simplify game state so much that it's usually enough to net you the win. That rounds out the extra deck. Like I said, extremely tight, no space. For our side, we play 1, 2, 3. Nibiru, the Primal Beings. We still see plenty of combos. There's still plenty of decks that go to 5 without putting out a monster in a game. So he's good. We want to be the only combo deck on the block still. We play triple Infinite Impermanence. I might switch this to going into the main just because it's a little stronger now than Droll, just because a lot of the decks that Droll hit also got hit by the ban list. And Effect Negation is just a good card, and it works going second or first. We play triple copies of Evenly Matched. This is your control panic button. Anytime you're playing a deck that sets a lot of cards, because Solemn Judgment is not that common in the format, this card is a godsend and leaves them pretty weak. I had a win against a Salad player because I opened these 2 in the opening hand. Didn't have combo yet, but the 6th card drew me combo. Activated evenly. He had set Rage instead of Roar, I believe. He set the pop instead of the negate. With his cards, he was left with a Baguska on the field, and Perm took care of the Baguska. The last spots are my personal choices, but they can be definitely swapped out for different ones. To match the 2 Twin Twisters, we have 2 Lancias. Stopping Banishing is still good. It will hurt Tri-Brigade a lot, and Tri-Brigade is still going to be a strong deck going forward. We play 1 Harpies because Spell and Trap Destruction is very important. It probably sides in for the Roland. We play 1 copy of Noble Arms Caliburn because time is still a thing that you're going to see in a lot of tournaments, and gaining 500 can ruin your opponent's day. This card netted me a win against a Dragonlink player because he ran Dark Ruler No Mores and going into game 3, and I was able to say, okay, go through normal combo, but I'm up 1,000. The last 2 spots are taken by a Herald of the Arclight and an Abyss Dweller. This is to let you switch back to that combo line depending on your opponent that we used in the Noble Infernoble Knight build. Slight. So you can go into double Herald and a Borreload Savage and a Charles, or you can also go into a double Herald, one of which revived by Living Fossil. Tributes itself as cost, so still works under the Living Fossil, and then 1 Abyss Dweller with 1 material under it, which can ruin a lot of deck stays. That's all there is to it. I might try to go back to Noble Infernoble for a little bit. I'm really enjoying this build a lot, but I am missing my Noble Knights.
All right. Well, thank you, Josh, for the deck profile. Thank you for giving us an update. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about his deck, leave it down in the comment section below. And yeah, leave a like, comment, definitely subscribe. See you next video. Have a nice day. Also, this clown in the background over here.
So I'm gonna draw on your life point.
No.
Channel favorite.
Oh gosh.
All right, have a nice day.